I guess first you can introduce yourself.
Bam. All right, what's up? So my name is Michael. I go by Stryer as well. My name is Michael Stryer. It's my last name. I've been producing for about 2.5 years now, and just had a release on Simplify. Got a couple others lined up for the rest of the year here. Met Kurt through Defire. Defire Society is amazing. If you don't know about it, ask us about it. Anyways, back to you, Kurt.
Anyways, yeah. So what Stryer was saying, his latest release is Drown, right?
Right, and that was on September 1st.
September 1st. I'll actually play a little snippet in here, and if you guys want to, I'll link I'll link in the description so you guys can go check it out. He is killing it on Spotify. He's very humble about it, but he's killing it. So, but the reason why I brought him here today to talk, it's gonna be a little bit different than traditional tutorials and stuff I do on my channel. This is more so going to be I guess you could say, a more podcast style where we're going to talk about healthy lifestyle choices and how it can actually make positive influences in your production as well. So, one thing that me and Michael share a lot is, healthy eating, staying active, and then applying ourselves to our craft as well, which he's very good at. So one thing I guess I want to start with is, what does a day-to-day look like for you?
So let me put my headphones on real quick. I think I might be able to hear a little better. But thanks for all the nice comments, by the way, dude. Yeah, day to day for me right now, it's been a little bit different since COVID, obviously. Back in March, I was working full time at a restaurant, fine dining here. Haven't worked since March because of COVID. Obviously, all the restaurants kind of closed and stuff like that here in Denver, Colorado. But yeah, so basically, I wake up around like I'd say 10 or 11 every day. First thing, immediately go to the gym right away, every single day. I'm doing like an hour to an hour and a half at the gym usually, or swimming on some days as well for cardio. I feel like, for me personally, especially when I'm creating and like music production is such a thing that requires so much like mental strength and just like focus and whatnot. I feel like going to the gym is absolutely crucial to like just to keep everything going and keep all the gears turning correctly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Get back to that. So yeah, I'll get done at the gym around like 1 or 2 usually. Come back home and we're in front of Ableton from probably 2 or 3 until around I'd say 12 at night usually. So we get usually good 8 to 10 hours in there. Sometimes
Yeah.
longer, to be honest. And then I pass out after playing a couple hours of Pokemon. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Into the Final Four yet, or the Elite Eight?
Almost there, man. Almost there. I'm playing all the old games right now. Just I like to do like an hour at night, just because there needs to be some sort of relaxation in life. I feel like if
Abs- Absolutely. I believe in work to accomplish some things. You got to treat yourself. I like to do like that reward type system where, all right, I can't do this unless I do X amount of this as well. Like I said, one thing we do share deeply is activity in your life. Staying active physically can really help, at least for me, really help me mentally. Especially because I'm in California where the gyms haven't been opened. I think they opened for a week actually in July. I take that back. So we had a week, and then yeah, no go. So staying physically active is very important, and for me here, it's just small things like resistance band or walking or trying to do something just to stay active and get outside, get that 15 minutes of sun and all that stuff. But yeah, so I think the interesting thing as well with you is your how you stay focused when you're actually producing. So you say you're in front 8 to 10 hours a day.
right.
How do you deal with fatigue or frustration in certain parts of your song, say sound design or arrangement if something doesn't go right? What's some techniques you use?
Yeah, totally. Sorry to cut you off there. I would say in general, like I like to take little breaks in between. So I'll usually do like three-hour sessions is probably my average, I'd say. In between those sessions, I'll do either like just something to totally like take my mind off of music in general. So whether it's like 30 minutes of I don't know, taking a shower and eating dinner literally, then go back to produce, or it might be like driving around and just like taking a cruise or something. I don't know, just like something in between to like take my mind off because I feel like when you're in like the DAW, you should be 100% focused, meaning like when you're sitting in front of Ableton, that should be your focus. You shouldn't be like, texting or like I mean, obviously in between while you're waiting for stuff to load, like no big deal. But I'm saying in general, your focus should be on Ableton. I feel like.
Absolutely. Do you generally when you produce, do you put your phone aside, or do you log off social medias or anything like that?
Honestly, I'll usually just keep my phone on the side, and then I'll, obviously see the notifications as they pop up, and I'll look at it. If it's not urgent, I'll go right back to what I'm doing. But I mean, you have those, like, for me, for instance, the way that I kind of produce is like not, I wouldn't say it's conventional because I don't produce like, oh, let me sit here and do my chords. Now I'm gonna do my drums. You know what I mean? It's for me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do my chords. I say that, but then I end up doing something completely random, and it's like, oh, instead of these chords, now I have like this huge bass layer. But then I get back to the chords. So my production process is kind of like all over the place as it is, I would say.
I feel that. I feel that because do you generally start with a drop, or do you just start with an idea, or
Pretty much always start with the intro, to be honest. Usually like the big, because I like to, pretty much everything I'm working on right now is made like for vocalists to eventually sing over. So pretty much the stuff I'll usually start with like a big orchestra section for the like a chorus section, and then I'll kind of build around that because I feel like that'd be like the meat of the song, and then you have like your intro, it's kind of build up to that, and the chorus is like where your vocalist is like really just like belting, like he or she is like at the top of their register, you know what I mean, like they're going off,
yeah,
and then you can design like the build up and drop after that. But I feel like in the end it is music and it's a song, so I feel like you should start with that like the most musical part, you know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. Especially nowadays in modern day dubstep, where it's just everyone's just trying to out bass each other. It's good to have those
Sound design is
melodic.
important though. Don't get me wrong. Like sound design is absolutely crucial, and it's like it's fascinating. Like you have like insane people like Must Die and like those kind of guys. What the fuck? That was really loud. Um, yeah, people like Must Die, Virtual Riot, like those crazy dudes who just like can flex with their sound design. Like it's insane. Like
Yeah, it's casual to them.
so casual, and it like blows my mind. Like, but it's just a matter of time. You got to keep in mind these dudes have been doing it for like so long.
That's facts. Is there so with your schedule right now, the 8 to 10 hours a day, if you don't get burnt out in a day, that could be quite long for some people. How do you keep that regiment up every day? So say you're making, a song and you get stuck, right? Or say you feel that it's just not up to par with the rest of your stuff, or, typical producer thoughts, or you just it sounds like someone else or something. How do you overcome those challenges?
I mean, I feel like in the end of the day, like the reason I started making music was because like I mean, just to get to that real quick, like I started because I was bored, literally sitting in my apartment, like needed something to do, downloaded Logic originally, and like the act of like producing and just like the fun part behind it, like that feeling you get when you sit in front of the DAW and it's literally just feels like you're playing. It doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean? Like that's how I
Yeah,
feel like I can get through it is because like those 8 hours literally fly by like faster than anything. Like I would say in my life, the gym and like just music producing, those are the two things I can kind of get on like autopilot with, and like
yeah,
just getting into that like state of flow and like on that autopilot state where you're just literally sitting there and you're not even like conscious of what you're like putting into your jaw, but it's amazing is like that's like the shit that I'm addicted to, is you know what I mean, like that.
absolutely.
And then also to add to that, I would say like I know people say this that the theory isn't real or whatever, but I'm very big on that 10,000 hours belief. Meaning like
Oh, I am too.
you put 10,000 hours into whatever you want to be like great at, and that's what it takes to become an expert, basically, right?
Exactly. No, I agree with that deeply, especially with music, and especially like EDM, where you're always trying to fill that spectrum out no matter what. But even though if you're not trying to make it seem like that, you're balancing levels, mixing all that stuff. I mean, it's a very complex thing, which doesn't look that complex on the surface, right?
There's a
But
lot that goes into it, but like in the end of the day, it just takes time to learn everything. Obviously, like whatever stage you're at in your production, you need to understand that like everyone else was at that same stage, like before they were at where they're at now. You know, like nobody just started off like Virtual Riot. Like everyone had to work to get there.
no, 100%, 100%. You got to grind it out. Um, and what do you ever get like producer anxiety or anything like that whenever you work in the DAW?
I would say that I get stressed out sometimes if I'm trying. Like the only time I usually ever get stuck when I'm producing is sometimes when I'm trying to like sound design stuff, and I'll like sit there tweaking the same freaking saw wave with some crap on it for like 2 3 hours, and I can't get anything to sound cool. That's when I start stressing, and that's like again, when I'll go for like just get away from the DAW and like go outside and try to do something like not related to music and then come back to it eventually. Like, but also I would say I like to work on multiple things at once, as far as like projects. So if I do get stuck on one project, I can kind of always open like something else I'm working on, you know?
That's fair. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in starting a few projects a week, even if it's just a melody or a bass line or something very simplistic. That way you have ideas to run off of and go as well. I think it's very important. Um, okay, but let's see what else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So how do you take a big question that a lot of people seem to be one side or the other on your sound design? Do you go with a whole dedicated time to sound design and then write a project, or do you do it during your project? For me, I'm more of I like doing little sound design sessions for maybe like filler and little obsolete stuff, but when I'm in the project, ow, bro, chill. I like to actually more so write the bases because I feel like I can get more cohesive with the project I'm doing rather than if I'm just making random sounds. I can kind of throw them in and make them mesh, but I have a bathroom door too, and he just skirted right back in. Sorry to interrupt that. What were you saying again?
I was saying that I don't really do like separate sound design projects. I kind of just do everything within like the project I'm working on. But I'll have like specific sessions. Like I know pretty much I would say I have like a very vague goal of what I want to accomplish every time I get in front of the DAW. So like if I need to build this drop as the next step in like my process for creating this song, whatever I'm working on, I'll use that song as a sound design project basically. Because then I'm creating new sounds first of all, but I'm also like creating sounds specifically for this song. And I would say that a lot of my songs have been like kind of getting more cohesive as far as my sound recently. So and then like what you can do down the road is like you can take these sounds that you've been using and then you can just tweak them like because they're your sounds.
100%.
Like they don't sound like anybody else really. They're really like oh my god, your signature sound. And
No, I get.
go ahead.
No, keep going. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say you can like take them into other projects then and like basically just tweak the patches if you need to, and like you have a bunch. You can make like an infinite number of sounds from that one patch. You know.
Yeah, so that's one thing that not that I struggle with right now, but I definitely exploring with my project is that I don't want to be so early on. I don't want to be so stuck on one sound. I like to explore and try to see different sounds. Even though they might sound cohesive in a processing aspect, I definitely try to change the overall feel, and some may be lower bass, some more be higher, and just different kinds of styles. I exploring for mine, but no, I think you nailed it on the head. I think one thing that's really cool that people should do is definitely after they, especially after they finish a song, they don't want to bounce out all the stuff, or if they don't want to save the patches, at least just stem it out, and then you can just throw that into a later project and grab that bass or what that was shot, and just resampling is
I was literally thinking
I
of that
think
earlier actually, like exactly what
yeah,
you just mentioned. That's crazy.
I do it all the time. Or if there's certain hits where I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I'll actually save that one and certain things. But no, I think it's super important, and it just helps workflow in general. I think even if you don't want to keep it, like for me, I always personally, because I like to mess with like the minor details. It's like, all right, I'm working on arrangement. I'm just gonna lay out the track, and then I'll start doing that. And I'm like, this fill could be a little different though. And then I spend like an hour and a half, and I'm like, wait, this arrangement's not even done yet. Why am I messing with this and that and stuff? So I think it's really good to just plug and play and stuff. At least that's one way I look at it.
Yeah, no, I definitely like. I've been saving like a lot of my. I've been like starting a new sample folder for this year, basically just of like my own shit that I made, kinda. And I just have like a bunch of glitches. Honestly, that's like the majority of the folder is like just stuff I've made either through Portal or through just like resampling other glitches I've made, and
The
like I can literally
the
sit there
portal
for
glitches.
hours. Like, oh, the Portal glitches are great, but I'm saying like recently I've been like really liking like the Beats mode, Beats Warp mode on Ableton. Just
Yeah,
like
you can get some really good,
ridiculous
like,
things out of it.
yeah, especially if you tried like the transient mode on it too,
Yeah,
and
yeah, for
then
sure.
manipulated it.
I've
It's
tried that.
crazy.
I like to just like automate the pitch in crazy ways. You get random stuff, resample it, freeze it, whatever. Just continue the process until you get something cool. There's like no direct objective. You're just like
It's
messing with it.
That's one of my favorite rabbit holes to go down.
You do
It's
that
like
for hours, trust me.
glitches and fills and all that stuff. Try to break up the monotony. Yeah, exactly. Um, let's see here. So, what would you say to a person coming up, starting producing, intermediate or even beginner, that like 3 core tips that have really helped you become stable in your production?
So I would say number one, this entire thing, like you making progress, is all about personal choices and personal, um, I guess, decisions on what you make. Like in the end, it really comes down to like 5 years from now, you're gonna think about all these times you went to hang out with your friends or whatever it was. I'm not saying don't hang out with your friends, but I'm saying you gotta limit that and you really gotta like focus because music production is something that takes a lot of time, like straight up, no lie at all, like an insane amount of time, and it's something that requires a lot of focus. So you're gonna have to like make sacrifices in your life if you really do want to like succeed at this. Is what I would say. Number two is what I would say is do not stop producing, no matter what. Literally, just like continue to do it. Continue to surround yourself with music production. Continue to just learn every single day. Like you're literally never not learning. Like I still have an infinite amount of stuff to learn. Like for the rest of my music career, I'll probably still learn until the day I stop producing, which is like the day I die. But I mean, Skrillex is literally still learning stuff every day to this point. Like you can never get like too good. There's no ceiling. Is the cool part about music production.
Always.
Number three, what I would say is your associations are extremely important. The people who you work with and the people who you just talk to on a daily basis, because the energy that they're feeding you and just like the whatever people are talking about, like you don't want to be surrounded by a group of people who's talking about like, oh, like I wish I did this back in the day, or like there's no way I could do this. This is impossible. Like you want to be surrounded with people who have the same mindset as you. That literally any of these crazy, ridiculous things you want to achieve are possible, and they are possible through hard work and just like your own determination, and really that anybody can achieve anything just through hard work.
100%. I believe in the bouncing off that 2 things is your 5 core friends, kind of what you're saying. Like your 5 core people you surround with should be positive, like-minded people that are go-getters, or surround yourself with who you want to be. And then B, about the, yeah, I always say ABC, always be creating, especially as an independent artist. So, sometimes, it's more than the music, even though that should be your main craft. Like you got to work on your own marketing. You got to learn that side of it. You got to learn social media. You got to do, if you do your own logo work and graphic design, you got to dabble in that as well. But and not to plug our situation, but like Defire is really good at doing this stuff with the branding and all that stuff. Like the people in Defire that really apply themselves, they're often, like say Ray Mart, fucking Mr. Fink, you, Cam, all these people that are using the resources are really growing in this field. I think it's very important that one thing that is the underlying factor in all these people are they're grinding, they're doing the work. They're talented, yes, but they had to achieve that somehow. And I think that's a very big factor that maybe a newer producer or people that don't really understand how much work and time goes into the craft to actually make it to the, I want to be the next Excision, I want to do that. It's like, you got to sacrifice as much as they have, and or also be slightly talented. Like Virtual Riot's both, right? He can pretty much make any sound, but he's worked his ass off every day. He knows a lot about music. So yeah, let's see here. Do you have any new stuff coming out that you want to shout out?
Bunch of new stuff. I would say just real quick before we jump to this question. Number four, if I got number four for the last question, number four would be Join to
Shoot, you can
Fire.
go to 5 if you want.
Join to Fire. Join to Fire is like the huge thing because like Defire has been a massive help to me, like straight up. Just the instructors have all like, just that hard feedback that you really need is what you need to grow as a producer. Like that would be like I guess like the point of if you don't want to join Defire, like the whole point of that is to get feedback from people who are they know more than you, right? So they're gonna help you to achieve. That's been a really big part of my success so far is just getting feedback from friends and other producers who were way ahead of me. You know what I mean? So that's 100% what I'd recommend. To jump to new music coming out though, yes, we have. what is it now? Today is the 24th?
25th.
25th? All right, 5 days. So next Wednesday, we got a song with my boy Sounds of Apollo coming out. It's called Tryin. It's on the 30th. That's a self-release coming out all platforms. After that, November 2nd, I have another release on Simplify. It's a collab with Faded. And then I have a bunch of other songs ready as well right now. There might be a remix dropping in October, depending on how the next couple of weeks here go. We'll see. But yeah, definitely right now there's like 11 songs here in the next 6 months, so.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm excited for them.
Thanks, dude. What about you?
I have a single release. Oh, I'll have 2 releases in October. So I'll have my single coming out in my Spotify, iTunes, all the major streaming platforms on October 9th. I'll have a remix dropping October, and I'll have actually a remix dropping November, and then a single in December is what I have right now, and then a few more unreleased that I haven't planned out next year's marketing all the way yet. I've got those down, but yeah, so I'm really excited for those as well. So it'll be a good time. So yeah, if you could take away anything from this chat, I would say keep grinding. Get yourself in a schedule too. It sounds like, you're very scheduled. You're a little more organized than me. Mine fluctuates a little more with work and stuff. But yeah, 100%. Always make time for your craft, even if that cuts into your social time. So if you are a social person, you got to learn how to balance or what takes priority.
All about priorities is like the name of the game, I'd say, for
100%
improving.
And then, if you can, or if you're interested in joining Defire as well, like this isn't an ad for Defire, but it is truly an amazing organization with top tier artists that give you feedback, branding workshops. I mean, just workshops in general, breaking down tracks and really helping you improve.
It's all about the connections, though. That's the biggest part about it.
And the biggest thing, over 1,000 people, 1,000 producers to connect with. I mean, that's how I met Michael and all this, and it's really good to have a good inner circle of producers that can tell you, hey, your track could improve here and here in a nice way. But that's how you truly get better, is where you can't hear or spot, people can, and they can give you guidance, and that overall is going to drive your music to be better in a very saturated market, I would say.
Absolutely.
So, but I know you got to get going here, take care of some things, so I appreciate your time today. And I'm looking forward to your release here in 5 days.
Oh yeah, dude, thank you for having me, and I'm freaking stoked for it too. Really appreciate it, bro.
Well, I'll talk to you here soon, and for people on YouTube, I'll leave all of his social links in the description below if you want to check him out and see what he's up to. But until next time, catch you guys later.